Today I'm going to show you how to verify and replace a faulty defrost thermostat in a Santa Fe Advance2 dehumidifier. The first thing you're going to want to do is verify that the defrost thermostat is faulty. The easiest way to do that is to have the unit off and flip the fan switch from auto to on. Now just the fan will run and you can hear it running, and once the fan's going you can turn the humidity control knob all the way to the right to verify whether or not the compressor is turning on. Now if the compressor turns on, you'll hear a deeper vibrating kind of humming noise, but in this particular unit we don't hear that, so that means the defrost thermostat is faulty. So go ahead and turn the controls back off. So the tools that you're going to need to replace the defrost thermostat are a T25 Torx driver, a Phillips screwdriver, needle nose pliers, and a tape measure. So the first thing you want to do before you make any repair on the dehumidifier is to unplug the cord from the wall. So the next step, we're going to remove the filter so we can get the top cover off. In order to do that, go ahead and remove the magnet on the side of the cabinet, and then the air filter will just slide out. So the next step is to remove the top panel, and in order to do that, there's 6 screws on either side, and then 2 screws on the back, which we'll get to. You'll need to use your torque driver, T25 driver, to remove the screws. I'm going to use a drill with a Torx bit in it just to make things speedy. So remove these first 6 screws. And then on the back side, you have 2 more screws. I have the 6 screws on the other side already removed, so you go to the other side and remove the last 6 screws. Okay, once you have all the screws out, the next step is to remove the cover. And in order to do that, you can grab it in the back and lift that up about 3 inches, and then with your other hand pull it towards you about 1 inch, and then straight up. And then from here, you'll notice you have 3 wires, 2 black ones and a brown wire, and they run through, there's 3 rubber grommets. So you're going to want to pull those out of the grooves they're in. So the first grommet you're going to want to remove is the one down on the side. And in order to do that, you can grab the wires and pull it straight up. And then that will allow you to lift the lid a little further. And then the next 2 are down on the bottom of the lid. So go ahead and do the same thing. You just pull them out, and then the next one's over here. And then remove the lid. So after you have the top panel removed, the next step is to locate the defrost thermostat. Here's a new defrost thermostat, so this is what it looks like. And it's going to be located inside the unit, above the wiring diagram on the back side of the fan shroud. You'll see 2 black wires that come out of it and a metal tube. The next step is to remove the 2 black wires that are connected to it. You can use your needle nose pliers, and they just slide off the terminals like so. Then once you have the black wires removed, you can take the two Phillips screws out. For this you'll need your Phillips screwdriver. Again, I'm going to use my drill with a Phillips bit in it. Now once you have that loose, you have the wires off, the defrost thermostat loose, now you pull the metal tube straight up and out of the evaporator coil. So this is the old defrost thermostat, and this is what the new one's going to look like. You'll notice that the metal tube is coiled around the actual defrost thermostat. So what you're going to want to do with the new one is straighten the metal tube. You can straighten that, because you're going to want to use your measuring tape and measure this tube 13.5 inches. And then once you've measured, you want to do a 90-degree angle. Now when you bend it, you want to make sure not to pinch it. As you can see, after we've measured our 13.5 inches, it's going to be the same length as the old defrost thermostat. Once you have the metal tube bent to the 13.5 inches, you're going to insert it down into the evaporator coil where you removed the old metal tube. And you're just going to push it straight down into the coil all the way to where you bent, to where you made the bend in the metal tube. And then once you have that all the way inserted, go ahead and uncoil more of the metal tube so it goes across the pad on top of the condenser coil. Now once you're here, you're going to have to reposition the defrost thermostat so the wire terminals are going to be facing the black wires that you removed. Now once you have the metal probe across the padding on top of the condenser coil, you're going to do another 90-degree bend at the edge of the padding. So bend the metal probe down. Now we have the defrost thermostat in position on the back side of the fan shroud. You want to make sure that the metal tube is not touching against the condenser coil or the defrost thermostat itself. You can put your screws, your two Phillips screws, back into the defrost thermostat. And then the next thing is to reattach the black wires to the terminals. Now the wires are interchangeable, so it doesn't matter which wire you put on what terminal. So go ahead and just take those if you need to. You can use your needle nose pliers and just slide those onto the terminals. So now that you have the defrost thermostat installed, you can reassemble the dehumidifier. You can take the top panel and position it closely to the rubber grommets so you can get them back in position. So you're going to want to start off putting the grommet that's closest to the controls, sliding that up in the groove first. And you'll notice there's a groove in the rubber grommet. Line the groove up in the metal so the metal bracket slides in the groove, and push it up in position. And then you move to the next one, which would be the center one, and do the same. Up in position. And and then you do the third. So after you have the rubber grommets in position, the next step is to install the top panel. And before we do that, we want to make sure we have these wires in position so they're not below this metal box. So you just pull them up so they're going to be in the box. Once you have the wires in position, now what you're going to want to do is slide the front panel under the lip of the grill, the front grill. So you slide it under and then down, making sure that both sides are tucked into the tabs on the top panel. Once you have the top panel in position, you can insert the screws, the 6 screws on each side and the 2 in the back. So once you have all the screws in place, you can reinsert the air filter and the magnet on the side of the cabinet. Now the next step, once you have the unit reassembled, is to verify that the compressor does turn on now. Before you plug the unit back in, what you want to do is make sure that the fan switch is in the auto position and the humidity control knob is in the off position. And once you have those set, go ahead and plug the unit back in. We'll turn it on to verify if the defrost thermostat fixed the issue. You want to start with turning the fan switch to on, and again you'll hear the fan run. Once that's running, go ahead and turn the humidity control knob, turn that to the right, and listen for the compressor to turn on. Again, you should hear a low humming sound. Okay, we heard it come on, so the defrost thermostat was the issue.